47 years ago, in 1971, my grandfather established a plaster company called Vigil and Son. By supply and demand, the company grew, and it stood pretty strong all the way up until now. So here we are on site at a Quicksand project where we're doing a brown coat finish, taking a structure that was originally wood and moving it into the next phase where we lath it. We get it with chicken wire and black paper. Then from that point on, we do what's called a scratch coat. From the scratch coat, we then go to truing the entire building, and we get what we have here in front of us that the guys are working on, which is the brown coat. But ultimately, then we take it to the finish of your choice. What we're looking at here is a newly installed window. It's been covered up, lathed with black paper, chicken wire, watertight. Then we scratch it, and we tie it into the broken jagged edges that we create here. The reason why we have broken edges is that this way we don't have a straight line in order for a line to conduct itself. So where it's broken and jagged, as it dries up and shrinks, it will have broken edges all the way through, but when it dries, it will sit and cure and be solid. Then after this is all brown coated and nice and smooth, what we'll do is later we'll sandblast this surface here. When we sandblast the entire surface, then we may brown the entire building in order to ensure that it stays perfectly straight, or we can sandblast it carefully, keep the whole thing, pretty much be sure that the contour is in good shape, and just re-stucco it right at that point. On this side of the building, you can see here where it's been scratch coated right over the paper and the chicken wire. And what this does, we give it one coat in order for it to set up, give it a day or two to dry, and then we come back through and we put a second coat of brown coat over it, and that's just a solid coat of plaster. But we need the first coat of brown coat to set up a little bit in order for the building to be able to hold the weight of the brown coat. So at that point, after the brown coat gets there, we put it on by hand, and then we scrub it all the way down to get that nice smooth surface. I want to take you over the other side. As we're working it over here, you can see the overhangs, how it passes over from the brown coat to the scratch coat. And after everything's all straightened out, you have a true surface, and all your windows end up nice and clean. So had this been a renovation and we did sandblasting throughout the whole thing, the contour might be destroyed, it might be crooked. So then in that particular case, it'd be a good idea for us either to polymer coat it, reinforce it with fiberglass, or to simply just go over it with a coat of brown coat, depending on your budget. Very often, since way back when, the original process has been only sandblast it, then put a coat of stucco on it. We have very skilled sandblasters. We make good things happen. My grandfather established this company in 1971, so we've been around this business for a little while. What you see here is the hand application of the plaster that goes on. First it goes on pretty rough, and then we take a Darby, as you can see in the video a little earlier, and then they smooth everything down. After it sets up a little bit, they're then going to float it down and get it to a nice consistent porosity, and then from that point on, we'll let it cure for a few days and then come back and put the finish on. Large commercial ventures can be done with Tommy gun. It could be sprayed, but standard house, 1,200 square feet, 2,400 square feet, even up to 5,000 square feet. Most of those applications will be by hand. We have now established a subsidiary called Quicksand Sandblast, and if you've contacted us, you probably got us through sandblastpro.com or restuccopro.com. Vigil and Son is a plaster specialist, and we're licensed solely under the plaster profession, and the Quicksand Sandblast is a sandblast specialist. The State Contractors License Board required that because Quicksand Sandblast does such a variety of sandblasting, such as steel tanks, even trains and automobiles, a wide variety of things. State Contractors License Board required that we become specialists in the field of sandblasting and as well as plaster. So when you get us out on one of your projects, not only do you have a plaster professional, but you also have a specialist in sandblast. Very few companies have both services under one roof. We are licensed, bonded, and we make it happen. Feel free to get in contact with us for anything that you may need as far as lath, plaster, color coat, smooth finishes. Whatever it is that you need to do with when it comes to plaster, give us a call. We'll take care of you. If you have any questions, just feel free, pick up the telephone and call me. My name's Joey. I'll be glad to help.